on to the major news. Let's start with some news right here in New York City. The New York City Marathon, the best excuse for soiling yourself in public. Now, unfortunately, the costs of running the marathon are overwhelming, from registration fees to travel to chronic bloody nips. And now the price might go up even higher.
There's a battle brewing over the New York City Marathon now because the MTA wants the New York City roadrunners to cover the cost of lost tolls on that day, $750,000 worth, because they have to shut down the Verrazano Bridge. In a statement, the MTA says taxpayers cannot be expected to subsidize a wealthy, non-government organization like the roadrunners. So that could mean steeper fees for those runners to enter the marathon.
If that's what it's going to take to run the marathon, I think a lot of runners are going to just suck it up and do it.
Oh, well, that's kind of frustrating. It's already like super high. Yeah. Because New York's one of the most popular marathons to run.
Come on, you couldn't even wait for her to cool down? Dude, you know that run is the 20 minutes of peace that woman had all day. Now, the marathon does generate a lot of money for New York City. So you might be asking, is it fair to charge runners even more money? That is. Yeah, if you're going to take over the city and shove it in our face how fit you are, that you have goals that you achieve, then yeah, you should have to pay for it. In fact, they should pay every time they tell us they ran the marathon. Yeah. Yeah, we know. It was 3 days ago. You can take off the silver blanket. And for anyone who thinks this will make the marathon too expensive, might I interest you in a much cheaper alternative? It's called Love Island and 3 pints of Haagen-Dazs. I win every time. But let's move on to the presidential race. It's the reason your therapist drives a Porsche. At least mine does. As you know, the president is decided by the Electoral College, the incredibly overcomplicated system that our founders came up with as a prank on future generations. Now, most states award all their electoral votes to whoever wins the state, but Nebraska splits theirs up by district. And in 2020, that meant Joe Biden received an electoral vote from liberal Omaha, because as it turns out, every state has a Brooklyn. But now Donald Trump has realized that he wants that vote, and that could make all the difference.
Could the election all come down to Nebraska? Donald Trump thinks so. He and his allies convincing Nebraska's Republican governor to support a major change in the way the state has been doling out its electoral college votes for the past 32 years.
Governor Jim Pillen says it's time for Nebraska to speak with one unified voice by making the popular vote be the one that counts for all 5 delegates. Former President Trump applauds that effort, but Democrats pushed back.
Pathetic worm Donald Trump thinks that he knows what's best for Nebraska and what Nebraskans want. But this man obviously wants this electoral vote because he's so scared he can't win the presidency without it.
Excuse me, ma'am, but whatever happened to decorum? That's former President Pathetic Worm. Yeah, but the implications here are huge. Biden's easiest path to the White House is to win Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, plus that one Nebraska vote. If he gets that, he can lose every other swing state and still win the election. But if Nebraska makes this change, the election could end up in a tie. And you might be wondering, what happens in that case? Well, it's simple, really. Have you ever seen the Purge movies? Just like that. Nebraska should really, truly keep this system, though, because it's certainly a more fair way to divide up electoral votes than winner take all. In fact, what if every state split up their votes, like Nebraska, by district, or maybe even by person, you know? Then whoever wins the most persons would be president. That would be pretty popular. Oh, we could call it the popular vote. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.